today. Yesterday was a fabulous session, wasn't it? A lot much of discussions, deliberations, which is actually helping me to set a tone to my presentation today, which is on natural origin index. When I say natural origin index, it's not just natural origin index, so I would be discussing something natural index, natural origin index, organic origin index. Mr. Rajul is here. I'm the NPD guy who was referring to yesterday. NPD is not a category or it's just a activity. NPD is a journey. NPD starts from idea, and then you have your prototypes, you have formulation, you have manufacturing, you have marketing, and you have your story to talk about, isn't it? And you would be doing this in the most possible ethical way. That is what NPD is all about. Being an NPD scientist, and I would always take consumers in the forefront. And for me and on consumers' point of view, we know only two categories. One is non-natural and natural. Natural, I mean, which includes natural, organic, plant-based. Plant-based is nothing but vegan or botanical you can discuss, because natural category may include some animal derivatives, right? And for us, there is no in between. What I mean to say is that I can't say having a formulation with non-natural base and having 1% of namak and then say isme namak hai, because it's something having 1 or 2% of botanical or non-natural base and then giving a sense to the consumer, saying that these are the natural products. And so there is nothing in between. Either you are in non-natural category or you are in natural category, right? So as I said, there's a two sides to it. When it goes to non-natural, I would tell you three basic and important equations for any cosmetic product, for that matter. It should be hypoallergenic. When I say hypoallergenic, it's safe to use, right? And efficacy. Efficacy is nothing but your promise, right? You are promising to the consumer, it does something. 24 hours moisturization, it should give 24 hours moisturization. 30 SPF, it should give 30 SPF. 30 SPF plus PA4 plus, which includes you have a wide range of UV shield, which includes UVA and UVB. So the promise is important, and you should deliver to the promise. We were also discussing value for money, right? You should be able to deliver this at a cost which consumer can afford to it, right? And they always look at your products and compare whether it is cost effective, isn't it? So when it goes to the other side of it, all three rules exist, right? There is no compromise on that. People is ready to give money to natural products, right? So that's so important for you. You are valuing it, right? And the expectations for natural products is not that simple. The expectation is much more. It should be silicone free or paraben free, no minerals. No, it doesn't stop over here. The expectation is this big, right? The claims are, you shouldn't mislead, right? Whatever you present and you offer, it should fulfill. I'll give some numbers to make you a bit interested. We are the 8th largest in the world in terms of beauty and personal care market. The value is about 14.8 to 15 billion dollars. We are growing at a rate of 10% CAGR, 8 to 10% CAGR, which accounts to be that we are doubling our market size by 2030. Uh, Demographically, we are similar to China, right? And our China is 5 times bigger than our market. So this possibly because our reach to the rural areas possibly limited, but expectation is that because of the e-commerce, everyone has got mobile now, right? You would be reaching to the foremost areas in no time, and in that $15 billion which we discussed, 40% is natural. I really don't know what does it mean, whether they are including the so-called natural products, but these are the figures which appears to be exciting, that and this 40% is growing at a rate of 1.5 times. So you would soon see that you are surpassing the non-chemical formulations or non-natural formulations. So now coming to what is natural, what is organic, right? It's a little theoretical, so what I thought is that I would rather take you through a kind of storytelling instead of me giving you a kind of equations. It's in the context of entrepreneurs who really want to create sustainable products, or natural or botanical or organic, and have a kind of passion to make an impact, right? And they always come this confusion that what is natural and what is botanical or organic, right? I mean, last 3 years I've been talking to so many startups, and I always inspired by their thoughts or the way they approach to the pain points. And I also realized these are all the innovations come from their own pain points, or they have observed something, there is opportunity in the market, right? And their passion is such that they really want to make a big impact in the society. So I'm creating a hypothetical situation. I'm not referring to any particular brand. Especially for this conference, we have created a story which actually takes you through. Imagine yourself that you being there, and how the journey starts, how startups come to us and then wants to make an NPD journey. They are very highly motivated individuals. Let's keep this story starts like this. So once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the heart of a lush green landscape, there lived two sisters, Ella and Bolivia. They grew up surrounded by the beauty and wonder of the nature, and were deeply connected to the earth and its inhabitants. As children, they spent their days playing in nature, discovering new plants, and learning about the power of natural remedies. Their parents were farmers who grew organic produce and raised animals without any harmful chemicals. So the children were taught to value the importance of natural, organic, non-toxic and sustainable living right from the very young age. Now fast forward. They stepped in college, headed off to college, ready to embark their new chapter. And here the actual story begins. They became increasingly concerned about the impact of pollution, harmful chemicals, and deforestation on the environment around them. I call this is a startup mindset, or I would say that it is a founder's mindset, which they realize problem, they could convert the problem into problem statement, and this comes from the pain points, right? From the pain points or the need gaps they analyze, and it's the ability to convert these challenges into kind of opportunities, right? They acted on it and wanted to introduce a brand that would promote natural, organic and eco-friendly products to help the next generation, right? And here is the brand mission, which is very simple: to offer products that were made from natural, organic and botanical ingredients, free from harmful chemicals, and designed to conserve water and plastic waste. They have the brand identity. They call it Two Sisters as a tribute to their deep bonding and passion for a healthier future, and a brand identity like this, right? So I'm taking you through the entire NPD journey, how the startups would evolve over a period of time. They did market study. They wanted to launch natural products. So what exactly the market talks about? They realized consumers are very much hooked to the products, right? They look at the back of the pack and then realize, okay, so this is natural, this is organic, it has this, it doesn't have this. So they are so much excited about it. But most of the markets, the Two Sisters realized that there is no regulated definitions for natural and organic. They did their research and realized the definitions of those, right? Natural, nothing but made from ingredients that are derived from plants or animals or minerals, and with a minimum process, a physical process. So you are not altering the molecule, right? And on the other side, you have organic products which are basically grown without any use of synthetic fertilizers or herbicides. And then what they did is that they wanted their products certified, right? So they looked around and realized there are so many private certifying bodies, right? And confused, right? Because as such, there is no unified technical approach. Which one to approach? Because these are all very expensive. This comes with cost, right? And at this point in time, and it's a confusion not only for the founders but even the consumers as well, who are looking at the back of the pack, right? Which product is good? Which certification to take for? And for the rescue, and of course it most of the times it misleads, right? And for our rescue, the ISO came into picture, right? So every industry wanted a trusted body to talk about, right? What exactly the natural and organic products are about, right? And ISO in 2016 released some guidelines. I say guidelines because these are not legal valid points. These are for us to understand, to follow certain rules, regulations, to understand what is natural and organic products. So there are two parts to it, and these are self-regulatory. So you can have your calculations based on the rules which they have framed, and you can declare. So that's what we call self-regulatory. You can declare on the pack saying that as per this rule, my formulation has this much content of natural or this much content of organic. So two parts to it. Part one talks about a definition of ingredients. So you would learn, maybe you can download or maybe I can circulate the copy of this. You would learn what is the definition of natural, organic, and so on. Part 2 gives you certain calculations. So you can calculate the naturality index or natural origin index of your raw materials and therefore your preparations, right? So part 2 talks about index. Index refers to raw materials and content refers to your formulation. So you have 10 ingredients. Each individual ingredients has some index. So you can calculate what your formulation naturality index is. So that's just the content. I'm not loading you, but I can't summarize this because these are definitions. So what I highlight is here, natural ingredients means these are the plants or herbs, including algae, animals, or microorganisms with a minimum processing, physical processing. Organic means obtaining from organic farming methods. Natural minerals means occurring naturally from that. Water is most important. Why I'm emphasizing water is that in certain private certifications, water is not considered as natural. But here, water is considered as natural, only natural. There are certain clauses where you can consider water also organic if it is part of your raw material. Say for example aloe vera. Aloe vera has 96% water, right? So that 96% of water is considered organic if aloe vera is produced organically, right? And reconstitution, say for example certain times aloe vera comes with a concentrated product like 200x concentrated kind of. So when you receive it, when you dilute it to that 200 times, so that water is counted as organic. In anything additional to that would be counted as natural, right? Again, so likewise there are definitions for what is naturally derived, right? Naturally derived ingredient is that where the natural portion of that particular ingredient is more than 50%. The remaining 50% could be synthetic or any of other source. And if this natural part is organically produced, so then we call that organically derived ingredient, and so the mineral. So just to summarize whatever we discussed, I put that in a pictorial format. Assume that we are cultivating coconut, right? In a regular process of farming where you use all fertilizers and everything, if you physically press coconut oil out of your coconut produce, that is natural coconut oil, right? If you convert that natural coconut oil into a kind of derivative, I give an example of CAPB, which is cocoa amido propylbutane, which is a kind of commercial surfactant, right? In that, so you can see this is the natural part which is coming from coconut. This is the synthetic part, amido propylbutane. It could be synthetic or certain petrochemical moiety is also present, right? So since this is naturally derived and the alkyl part of it, the carbon chain part of it is more than 50%, it can be considered as naturally derived product, right? The same cycle goes, just only the difference is organic forming. If it is coming from organic route, where the equation follows the same, you just name this as organically derived or organic ingredient first and then organically derived. But one rule, to qualify organic derived ingredient, this part of it, which is the synthetic part, should not be petroleum derived, okay? And even if it is organic and it is petroleum derived, it is not considered as organic product because it is associated with a synthetic molecule. I'll give you an example. So it's a very commodity surfactant which we use in personal care products. So as I was telling you, this alkyl part, how do you calculate naturality index? I mean natural origin index. I'm just giving an example. This alkyl part, the molecular weight is 183 gram mole, right? This synthetic part is 159 gram mole, right? While you calculate natural origin index is nothing but your natural molecular weight upon the total molecular weight into 100, simple, no confusion, right? So 53.5% is naturally derived and it qualifies as a naturally derived ingredient because it is more than 50. The natural part is more than 50, right? But now there is another connecting story to it. This is for 100% CAPB. Commercially, we receive with a concentration of 28 to 30%, right? So what happens when you take CAPB into your calculations, in the formulation calculations, what you essentially need to do is that you need to consider that water part also, right? So what happens here is this 30% is because the CAPB comes 30%, right? 30% you consider 53.3%, remaining 70% you consider 100%. So I said you water is 100% natural, right? So as a whole, the CAPV molecule has a naturality index of 86.05%. If I have to convert that natural origin index is 86.05%, natural origin index is always between 0 to 1, so that becomes 0.86. Okay, I hope everyone are with me. Slightly theoretical, I think it's not very big science, definitely. Okay, I'll give you another example. Here I have considered olive oil. Olive oil contains majorly, let's say, triolin. Okay, triolin, you have unsaturation over here, and I mean the entire olive oil I consider it as one because it's very difficult to give any molecular structure to triglycerides. It's where the fattest composition always varies. So I have given because the major compound is triolin, so not trienol, triolin. So since this is natural, I can give natural index is 1. And when I say natural index is 1, obviously natural origin index is 1, right? When we do hydrogenation, so what you are essentially doing is that you are changing the molecular structure of it, right? So you are converting vegetable oil into fat by hydrogenation. Now what happens here is that this is 100% natural. You are just making a chemical reaction converting that oil to fat, right? And there is no foreign material or foreign ingredient coming in. So I can consider this as 100% natural origin index. But here natural index becomes 0 because it is synthetic. Not synthetic, I would say converted, because the formulation structure is different now. So that's how the numbering happens. So either 0 or 1. There is a possibility between, as we have said in CAPB case. For your understanding, I have put certain scenarios over here, how you actually value that. Jojoba oil, if it is a natural, of course, it is completely natural, right? So the natural index becomes 1 and natural origin index becomes also 1. But if this jojoba oil is obtained from organic route, your organic index is 1 and therefore organic origin index is also 1. Since this is organic, your natural index is also 1. So any organic product is natural, but not all natural products are not organic. So I hope this equation is clear. Now we have also discussed a special case of CAPB where the natural origin index is between 0 and 1, right? Another example of saccharide isomerate, which is obtained basically from catalytic isomerization of saccharides. Since this entirely is a natural compound, but it is a derivative, so it's a natural origin derivative. In other case where if jojoba oil is obtained from organic and you are estrifying it, and then if you form a wax ester, what essentially you are doing is that your organic origin index becomes 1. Once the organic origin index becomes 1 means obviously your natural origin index is 1. Right? So these are the calculations you get to learn once you start working on your formulations. I'll give one simple example. So this is all about ISO methods. So how different it is from the commercial certification processes. I have taken an example of EcoCert, right? So EcoCert gives certain recommendations to qualify your product is natural or organic. Now you can ask me that why should I go for EcoCert? Because EcoCert is a branding, right? If not in India and in abroad, EcoCert is very well known process. So that may help your products in terms of branding. So people will choose to go for EcoCert. So if it is an EcoCert product, what happens is that again there are definitions for natural and organic, and here for getting natural EcoCert you don't require any organic content. You can have it, but you don't require to have it. But the maximum allowed petrochemical or synthetic moiety is 2%. So it means your natural content minimum should be 98%. right? And in Cosmos certification, if you are making a leave-on formulation, means like creams, lotions, which you wear, 20% should be organic origin, and for wash-off it is 10%. That the terminology is slightly different. They call it PPAI and CPAI. I'll just tell you what is PPAI. PPAI is physically processed agri ingredient, which is nothing but your natural index. CPAI, which is nothing but your natural origin index. So likewise, when you do, and in both the cases, GMO is not allowed. I mean, genetically modified ingredients are not allowed. Irradiation is not allowed if you are killing any pesticide, anything, and nanoparticles are not allowed, especially 1 to 100 nanometer. But here there is no restriction. In EcoCert there is no restriction. If you want to use nano silver as antimicrobial, for example, they allow. ISO is something like, it gives a window to innovate, right? But EcoCert is a very stringent body, and they have certain filters to choose which ingredient to use, which not to use. So EcoCert always comes with a positive list of ingredients and negative list of ingredients. But ISO is so positive, there is no negative, and they just give you the guidelines how to arrive at. I have taken one calculation. So here it is a kind of shampoo formulation. So all these are all natural ingredients. I did the calculations by putting the indexes for each raw material. So you can see you have arrived at 97.58 as natural origin index here, and here it is 97.6. So you can put these calculations on your label to qualify that your products are natural and organic, right? And this comes with cost, and this is a self-declaration. So this is the background story, and the sisters realized what exactly these products are all about, and they are success in launching their products. And I have 2-3 slides to tell about, especially silicones. So silicones, we sometimes assume that that may cause some problem to the skin and all, but not all silicones. So there are silicones. I mean, silicones sensorially, these are really good. I mean, if you want to really innovate formulations, you can choose silicones, but the choice of silicones you have to be very careful. So there are certain silicones which are available in the market with ISO certification, and for the benefit of students, I have put all these free formulation. Why silicone free? Why petrochemical free or LLP free? Why sulfates, why phthalates? So you can go through. I think presentation will be available to you. So you have BIS in India, right? So BIS has adopted ISO guidelines as it is. So it is as simple as that. No confusion. You just go download, and you can start work on your formulations, and then. But you can't use any logos or ISO logo, anything of that. You can write, say, I have calculated the calculations based on the process, right? So that's it. I just want to put this slide to you. This is how we do the NPD. I mean, NPD, as I said, that it is not a process, it's a journey, right? So this we have internally designed, so I call it as 7D butterfly. So the discover phase, where you must have got 100 ideas. So what idea to take forward, right? You need to do certain synthesis. You need to talk to your mentors, you talk to industry experts and markets, and then you shortlist your ideas and go with one idea, right? So design is something you all the time. You need not go to the lab and make formulations. You can virtually create formulations. I would rather advise. So if you want to make a shampoo formulation, you need not have all the ingredients with you. You know basic science, right? So you derive your formulation virtually, design your even claims, and put brand and put virtually, and then show it to people to correct it, right? You don't require any lab or anything of that sort. Once after getting the feedback from your colleagues, your friends and all, and your mentors, then you can go to the lab and then do the formulation, right? So define is something where it leads to a kind of prototype development or formulation development. Deploy. So once you are ready with the formulation, you can choose your manufacturing partner, or if it is a very small scale, you can even approach small scale industries to manufacture and digitize. So I mean, this framework is for D2C basically. So digitize is I guess this generation is so intelligent in putting the products online, and you know the entire knowledge of digitization, right? And you can connect to Amazon or Flipkart. You just put your products and then launch. Deliberate is most important. I launch my product. What happened to my product? So what consumer is talking about my product? Is that good, bad, and is there any opportunity to revisit your formulation and relaunch? This is most important. So what we call it as the dipstick analysis. So you launch product, you go to consumer, talk to them. So D2C is very close. I mean, you know that who are buying your product, and you can directly have a phone discussion, and that's the feedback, right? And most important of deliberate is that you may analyze that there is a pain point which you didn't attend, and that brings you the innovation. You go back to board and then you start filling that gaps. That's how the innovation cycle works, right? So ours is a startup, right? 2019 pre-pandemic, just before pandemic, I came out of corporate and started this journey. I mean, last 3 years been so amazing for us, and more than 100 products in the market now, and we are connecting so many startups. We are doing research for corporates. We are doing research for some German companies as well. Small group. One interesting point: M-Form. These two are M-Form. Yeah, and microbiologist, and this is my big strength, right? These questions to you. Then now define who are those two sisters or two brothers who would want to get on this journey and the mission and protect our next generation. So there is no hard science. It's just a willingness to just get started with. Thank you.